I think Magic in sports, and yeah, esports, I guess, is a little different than just a miracle or an upset. Because Magic is something you just know is there. You know it's possible and that it can happen.
Chicago with the lead!
Every time they play, they might just be past their prime. But then, there's a little chance. And you see a little glimmer. Have some faith and believe in Magic. The Ninjas in Pyjamas are the team that assembled Counter-Strike Global Offensive's very first dynasty. The Swedish team, consisting of Patrick Forrest Lindberg, Christopher Getaway Allison, Richard Exist Landstrom, Adam Freiberg, and Robin Fifflaren Johansson. From the beginning of Global Offensive, they would assemble a win streak that no esport, and maybe even no conventional sport, would ever attain. 87-0. Okay, being real, they were playing against milkmen and plumbers, yada yada yada, but still, they didn't lose a match in the entire year of 2012. It would end in March of 2013 when they faced off against the Polish 1.6 legends of Taz, Neo, and Pasha Biceps. However, these Swedish players, with their run, would forever be beloved playing underneath the Ninjas in Pyjamas organization. They would embed themselves into the early fabric of Counter-Strike. And they would define the childhoods and teenage years of Counter-Strike watchers around the world. But 87-0 wouldn't last forever. Counter-Strike's first major would happen. It's the defining tournament in Counter-Strike. If you want to be the greatest, you have got to win one. The Ninjas would undergo their most important test, but they would falter in the grand finals versus Swedish rivals Fnatic. It became apparent that the 87-0 roster was now just a team with one of the rest. At the next major in Katowice, Poland in 2014, they would face off against their era-ending rivals in Virtus.pro, Taz, Neo, and Pasha Biceps once more, but they would fall in front of the hometown Polish crowd.
He doesn't get the second. Virtus.pro have won. Taz has delivered in front of the home crowd.
At ESL 1 Cologne 2014, the love child of Counter-Strike, the Ninjas in Pyjamas, would once again make the grand finals. And then finally, it happened.
Gamescom 2014, ladies and gentlemen, 16-13. It finally happens.
After nearly a year, 2 second place finishes. NIP finally claimed the title. They are...
This 87-0 unit would then make the next two grand finals at the major in Jönköping, Sweden, and then once again in Katowice, a feat that has still not been accomplished to this day. 5 major grand finals in a row. The chants of NIP still ring throughout the early arenas of esports. There's one rule in early Counter-Strike. If you have no one to cheer for, you cheer for the Ninjas in Pyjamas. A small personal story. So in March of 2015, I was 11 years old. My favorite Minecraft YouTuber had started playing Counter-Strike, so of course, I'm gonna be intrigued. And the first thing I watched was NIP versus LDLC from the DreamHack Winter 2014 Major. I cheered on the Ninjas in Pyjamas because they're named the Ninjas in Pyjamas, who wouldn't? But also remember that this game happened 3 months prior to when I was watching it, but I didn't know the result. So I cheered on the Ninjas in Pyjamas as if it was live. And then I was enamored by esports. However, in 2015, there was a massive rough patch for the Ninjas. Constantly, the Star 4 had been looking for a replacement for the notoriously bottom-fragging Fifflaren. They swapped him out for Op Rifle Hybrid Macleod, but while he got them to another major grand final, didn't quite make the cut. Macleod would be swapped out for Finnish Star Op Alu, who, despite some flashy plays and funny clips,
Are those Red Bulls only for the commercials, or can you actually drink them?
No, you can actually, you can drink them.
NIP never really took off like they did in 2014. They suffered a quarterfinal exit to Virtus.pro at the Cologne 2015 Major, and then the semi-final exit to Natus Vincer in Romania. But NIP would continually keep booting their fist, still believing in the Star 4 that made 87-0. The Ninjas would place well in events, but they weren't winning tournaments anymore. The newer generation of players was passing them by. They started to get the nickname RIP. the 87-0 Dream Team is just not what they used to be. In 2016, the Ninjas would once again kick their fifth and bring in Swedish youngster op hybrid Pith. He was a player who would be definitely defined by his really high peaks, but then abysmal lows, just like every other player NIP have added to their lineup in the last 3 years. However, perhaps a more important addition is that alongside Pith, they would add in Coach Threat. Threat is a person who would revolutionize the tactics of NIP, who would innovate for this team and update them with what modern Counter-Strike has to offer. And so in preparation for the MLG Columbus Major, NIP would do exactly that. But there's a bit of an issue. Pith can't even make the event due to visa issues. So Threat, the coach, has to stand in, but they still make the quarterfinals despite playing with the old guard 4 and a stand-in coach.
Make another quarterfinals of a major tournament with a 16-9 finish over Mouse Sports with a stand-in, their coach playing as well.
That is the first sparkle of NIP magic. The next tournament, DreamHack Masters Malma. NIP take down world number 4, Astralis. World number 5, Virtus Pro. Godsent. And then they match up in the grand finals versus Nada Sincere. Here is what the desk has to say about it.
Spectacular game on the way. Or not. I mean, you guys seem to be pretty split already just in the discussions off air surrounding this one. Navi's form and NIP's form coming into this one. It seems like a pretty one-sided debate leaning towards the guys of Navi. And
to beat them, obviously you need to really grind it out. And NIP just had a really exhausting game as well. We'll have to see if that affects them somehow. But yeah, all things considered, it's that Navi is just a really solid team all around with great individual players who can also at times step up and deliver by themselves.
I mean, a lot less simple than that is just the fact that the teams that normally challenge Navi in series are all out of this tournament. There's no Fnatic, there's no Luminosity, there's no Astralis. Those are like the big three that you expect to put up a big fight against Navi. Other than that, they're clear favorites. They're clearly a level above everyone.
But all you need to do sometimes is believe.
NIP, what a story it's been already. Get right, and here it comes, NIP, your DreamHack Masters champions!
Their next stop would be ESL Pro League, where over the course of the month-long event, they went 19-3. In the finals tournament, they would face off versus world number 1 Luminosity Gaming, though, and they would eventually extinguish the Ninjas' run. But it's still a great time to believe in the Chicago Bulls of Counter-Strike. But obviously, the running joke is that they're just saving strats for the major. 2 years after winning their very first major in Cologne, NIP are in their best form yet, and might even be front runners for a deep run and possibly even a win. Well, anyways, Group B consists of Navi, a solid team, NIP, the number 4 team in the world, and 2 teams outside of the top 15. Optic Gaming and Flipside, who recently removed Simple this year, are a really bad team and were somehow actually older than all of the legends on NIP. Flipside is a mixture of old and bad. The Ninjas make short work of Optic, lose to Nada Sincere, and in a decider match, the Ninjas in Pyjamas take on Flipside.
Now comes into effect. Wild and advances this, and it's the 1v1, but the defuse is coming out. Is that gonna make it? Flipside have done it! What is this? Flipside have upset Ninjas in Pyjamas in huge fashion.
To that date, it was the biggest upset in Counter-Strike Major history. And it would be the first time the Ninjas in Pyjamas would not make the playoffs of a major. It was what seemed to be a turning point in the 87-0 dream. The results continue to be rocky for the Ninjas. While they score a victory at Star Series Season 2 with Macleod joining back on the team and standing in, The next tournament, they go out 0-3 in groups at Epicenter. They then make the semis at ESL Pro League Season 4, once again losing to the Brazilians, Fur, Fallen, FNX, Taco, and Cold Zera. They have not beat them once this year. So entering into IEM Oakland 2016, NIP have slid down to number 7 in the world again, and they're in a group of death. FaZe have recently added Kerrigan to their lineup. They are in the same group as SK Gaming, and Cloud9 had just won that very ESL Pro League tournament that NIP made semis in. Also, mousesports are still Nico Sports, and then there's this random Danish team called Heroic. But the Ninjas actually start off great. A nail-biter victory over Cloud9 gives them the best chances to exit the
second player, and Shroud turns back to check it and get right.
Group in what, form-wise, was a definitive upset. NIP take down the bottom feeders in mousesports and Heroic, but then get throttled by FaZe and SK. NIP stumble into playoffs. So another personal anecdote. When I was 12, I had a friend who had just moved from Southern California to Oakland. And so, as being enamored by Counter-Strike esports, I had a fun little weekend trip planned where I traveled alone on a plane, was picked up by my friends in Northern California, and, well, went to a Counter-Strike event at 12 years old. It was the first big Counter-Strike event in California. So the venue was absolutely packed, but there were no American teams who actually made the playoffs. So as the rule goes, when you have no one to cheer for, you cheer for the Ninjas in Pyjamas. The first match in playoffs is a warm-up game. An inexperienced Immortals team makes it through the studio stage of the event, but leave it to the forefathers of Counter-Strike to show them the door. This sets up a rematch. FaZe versus the Ninjas in Pyjamas in the semi-finals. The Ninjas are actually favored here, but FaZe are in on-fire form at the moment with the addition of Kerrigan. So let's get this semi-final. Map 1 is another nail-biter. The 1.6 old guard are breaking through site after site, and multi-kills from Pyth keep them afloat down the stretch. They have to force overtime on their own map pick.
It's a little bit too late, and now Freiburg peeks out, can't see the plot, and there it is! Freiburg toyed with, but there it is,
then
and Pitch Shine, and
they
now
convert.
we're down to 1. NIP.
And just a reminder, if you don't have a banner, the Ninjas in Pyjamas are your team.
All of FaZe is still low. Pitch! The defense from NIP, there it is. What? And yeah, that's the kind of round that'll get the crowd.
However, with the addition of Kerrigan, FaZe have gone from a team that just runs at you with firepower to having a couple tricks up their sleeve. While the expected pick this series was to be Overpass, Kerrigan picks into Train and finesses Overpass as the decider. And with a solid game plan, FaZe cook a fine dish out of the sweets, despite Forrest trying to jump out the pan.
Quick from FaZe, they have no kids, but Forrest in a lovely position. Watch it. Oh!
Map 3 is Overpass, and despite some crowd silencing rounds,
8 seconds left, and Keo looks to do it all. That's 2, gets a third, and now in a 1v1, and Forrest, brave as you like, standing out in the open, and Keo wants a bit of it, dancing with danger. He gets the job done.
Alu has to just run, and he's not going to do it. Get right closes it. Ninjas in Pyjamas will be in the IEM Open Grand Finals.
who are they facing off again? NIP has not taken a single best of 3 against this unit, but they've taken maps. Most recently, NIP took them down on Nuke in that semi-final loss in Sao Paulo, Brazil. However, imagine the shudder that coursed through NIP as SK switch up their veto and let Cash into the map pool. Now it's not a question of whether or not the old guard still got it. Michael Jordan is being studied by their opponents too. But I just have a question to ask you. The most important question. Do you believe in NIP magic?
Made their way down past Sandwich. Look at the bomb. FNX finds a kill. Bomb's in his hands. Low HP for Freiburg. Game over. Performance against them on Train. Not surprising. They don't drop a single CT-sided round again here. You've got to win pistols to even have a chance to do it. Close, but he had no angle to work with as a counter Molotov came out. He will get Freiburg. Now a second shot from FNX, but exists still in the side, and the auto sniper is going to win it for them. as NIP will force map 3. In that position at long, there it is, there's the swing, there's the more than he's worth, gets 2, Taco, lovely stuff. Forrest does respond to catch out Fur, but he's still got headshot potential. Auto sniper baits out shot, still finds the head. Taco down, he's got another chance. Exists on the auto. It works once more, and it's just gold remaining. He's gonna find it as well. I'm not gonna doubt Exist anymore on that weapon. He's gonna join him, but it's down to just Fur, 15 HP inside the connector. NIP have him pinched off. They've got the bomb, and they've got a minute to think about this. Look at Get Right. He's already got one hand in the air. He's waiting for it. He wants that celebration. They want the trophy, and they've got it. NIP will take down SK on the return of Pit.
What a story. Pitt's return after a 3-month absence, and they come back once again and win their 3rd tournament of the year. You can see what it means to them. Very emotional scenes there.
I know it would be so awesome if the Ninjas lived happily ever after and they went on to be the best team in Counter-Strike. But there's a reason it's called NIP Magic and not an NIP era. The E-League Atlanta major qualifiers are happening in December as the last tournament of 2016. It's a Swiss format, which means in 5 games, you've got to win 3 of them to advance to the next stage. And so NIP start off with a win versus the Australian Renegades. But the first surprise happens when they face Hellraisers.
Dual peaks, but again, they need a double peak here, or do they? 19-17, Hellraisers explode.
The CIS team is past their due date in terms of age, and they really shouldn't be contending versus some of the top teams, like NIP. Then they face Optic Gaming, a team that they had completely stomped a couple months ago, and they lose.
They're going to get the bomb plant down, stand up on the side with this. He gets the 1 kill in, 5 shooting him in the back. There's 1 kill, and Rush gets the headshot.
So now in the 1 and 2 bracket and facing elimination from the major, the number 3 ranked team, Ninjas in Pyjamas, the highest ranked in the qualifier, face off against the 3rd lowest ranked team, world number 32, Vega Squadron, in a moment that would live in infamy.
How can you conceive a major without NIP in it?
Both of NIP's players, no!
In 2017, the Ninjas would just never recover from this. This roster would be in a tailspin for the next 6 months. They removed Pith for Swedish op Doerksen. No dice. They didn't crack the top 4 of an event for the entire first 6 months of 2017. They plummeted out of the top 10, out of the top 15. In May, they failed to qualify for the major again, and they lost to just downright awful teams. They lost to another Swedish team called Red Reserve. Fucking iGame.com, dude. They lost to a website. And then finally, the Dagger, an up-and-coming Turkish team called Space Soldiers. And there was literally nothing redeeming about this. The 16-2 into a complete tailspin. 5 years after the 87-0 run, the Core 4, the name brand of NIP, had to be broken apart. The Ninjas had revitalized their tactics in 2016, but now they just need to revitalize their players. The Ninjas, little do they know, would make their most impactful signing even to the year 2024, where he still plays underneath the banner. NIP. Sign
20
Rez.
seconds. Cloud9 need to make this hit right about now, otherwise they simply don't have enough time. These UMPs have pretty decent stopping power, to say the least, and look at him, Rez buying time like a champ, goes back in. That is sensational play! God. Who is this man?
There was a flash of life. They returned to Malmö and placed in the top 4 in front of the Swedish crowd. A win versus super team FaZe Clan and major winners Gambit to escape the groups. And then NIP take down Na'Vi with Simple in a thriller nuke game in front of the home crowd.
NIP! Forced map 3! DreamHack Malmö looked like they were done. After train, we thought that'd be the clean 2-0. Then 13-5 down. That almost confirmed it. They came back in double overtime on nuke. And
Oh boy. And as soon as you saw Magic in the air, E-League major qualifiers for Boston. Same format, 5 games, gotta win 3 of them. In what was probably the most deflating, depressing thing I had ever watched. The team of the country Sweden loses to a random Swedish mix known as Team 5. Like, they lost to Milkmen, dude. Team 5 would, just to put in perspective, would proceed to then get 16-1, 16-0'd, and 16-6'd out of the qualifier afterwards. The next round, they would play against another random Swedish mix under the tag Hapolino and win. They go to 1-1. Then NIP face a real team in Heroic, down to 1-2. NIP then take on Polish team Kingwin. They win. They are now 2-2. I just want to add that this is the minor qualifier. So this is the qualifier to the qualifier, which means there is hardly any footage of these games. Sorry about that, folks. NIP face off versus another Polish team, going underneath the tag Pride. This is no Virtus Pro. This team is leagues out of the top 30. And plus, the map is cash. This map that defines the ninjas in pajamas. They're down 12-3 at the half. They can't come back. They lose 16-13. Forrest and Getaway have missed their 3rd major in a row. Entering into IEM Oakland 2016, NIP are a broken team more than ever before. They haven't won anything, and roster changes feel imminent. Exist isn't fragging. Draken has this 30-degree window meme about him where he hits ridiculous shots outside of 30 degrees, but can't hit the easy ones. There's hardly a thing to play for, it feels like. I don't know how you could even motivate yourself. Maybe it's the events where the least pressure is on, where you do the best. NIP land in Group A, immediately with 3 teams that are higher ranked than them. SK Gaming, Astralis, and Cloud9 being the favorites to move through. NIP has to upset one of these teams to try and make playoffs. And they have a blessing. Astralis don't have their best player on their team, but it turns out they never needed that blessing as NIP pull off one of their biggest wins of the year. They take down Cloud9 16-4 and then run a close game versus SK, world number 1. They don't fumble the bag versus the shitters of the group, and holy shit, NIP exit Group A as the number 1 seed and automatically make top 4, their second one of their some 20 tournaments they've entered this year. SK Gaming, on the other hand, had got to be furious. They lost to Astralis in an overtime affair and would have been knocked out of the tournament if the rules in these groups were just simple and normal. But due to the weird tie-breaking mechanisms with points, an overtime loss still gives you 1 point, and an overtime win doesn't give you 3, but rather 2. This point swing actually put SK Gaming above Astralis and eliminated them from the tournament. The bracket is set. FaZe Clan and NIP make the semis. Meanwhile, Cloud9 would end up taking down Gambit in the quarterfinals. So, as the world number 1 dodges a bullet, they match up versus Optic Gaming in the quarterfinals. Watch as the Brazilians make an example out of this team.
USP is doing some damage here. Fallen's going to find himself in a bit of a dicey spot, but of course, he pulls out the Glock. 15 seconds remaining. Cold Zero still alive there, doing damage. So is Taco. Nice shot.
Equipped, guys. Don't be fooled. 16-2, 05 stay alive. No surprise, Optic.
This earns SK Gaming a playoff rematch versus NIP at Oakland 2016. The Ninjas had not played the Brazilians in a best of 3 since they last lifted the trophy a year ago. Once again, SK Gaming are the number 1 team in the world. It's time for the legends of an old era to slay the giants of a new one.
Gentlemen, this is it. IEM Oakland, SK Gaming versus NIP, the defending champions up against the challengers, the world's number 1 team, SK Gaming. Let's make some noise. To work with it, he has to fight and see if he can make it a 1 versus 1 before anything begins here. He'll successfully do that, and he gets both kills! The spray control comes through, and Exist has done it!
Aggressive towards T-spawn. Taco responding to what Fur called, but there is a gap toward the lower stairwell and a connection back. Better from NIP. Get right and exists. They'll line them up. This is done. It's all done. Fallen in a 1 versus 5, and Forest finds him. 16-9. NIP take map 1 over SK. As they find themselves in a 2 versus 3. Get right. Gone down early. It means Cold was able to hold the wall, and therefore they close it out 16-9. We say that, and there's still at the 6 rounds T side to start it off. Again, Doerksen's the one to lead off in the round. Again, they've gotten the 6 rounds, 3 of them. Obviously due to pistol. That boy, get right. Why don't you? Since they've gotten many kills at all. Doerksen finds his way back in. Finds Taco as well. He knows where Fallen is. Fallen just found a kill previously, and he's trying to throw the gun to beat him. Oh, he shot it! Doerksen's got it, but the time is gone. It will still go to SK. There's nothing Bolts can do to get away from inside of Ruins. Doerksen finds the kill, and it's a 13th round for NIP.
All right then. They are all in with second stage loss bonus.
If you're on round 15, okay, fair enough. But 14, and if you don't at least get I'm going to say 3 kills, you don't do enough damage to the economy to even justify this. This has to be a winning play.
1 smoke, 2 flashbangs. They've got the AKs. Such a brave call from NIP. Hope for the best.
Pistols lead. That's all they'll spot originally. The AKs have to strike back for Trade. Pistols don't even get shot, but Get Right does get one immediately. Rez goes down. Trade again. Exactly what they needed, and the 3 AKs are the ones to stay alive. It's by design. Forrest goes 1 for 1. That'll do for now.
Oh, the backstab
Get Right. Oh my God, Get Right. How old school is that? Down banana. They had no idea why. Why would he be in CT spawn? And it's goddamn Get Right. That's why. Bolts gets found. Doerksen gets map point, and NIP feel his direction. As soon as he pulls in, Rez will confirm it appropriately as well. NIP 16-11, 2-1 over SK.
It's the grand final of IEM Oakland 2017. NIP matchup versus FaZe Clan. And just remember, this is Super Team FaZe Clan. They have Guardian, the best op of 2016. Nico, easily a top 3 player in the world. Rain, who is in the form of his career. And not only that, this time in a best of 5. That does mean the Ninjas get to play all 3 of their staple maps. Cobblestone, where they set the standard in 2016. Train, and what's supposed to be the staple map, Cash. All the tactics that Threat had built this team upon, modernizing the legends of old, now must come into full effect. The first map is Cobblestone, where 29-year-old Forrest, nearly 15 years into his career, drops the digits on the super team.
Just 7 to exist. That's a shot. Nico finds Rez. Good shot. Forrest finds Rain.
It's been unbelievable, the deagle so far, and he continues to find headshots here, brings it to a 3-on-3. They've got a chance to get the bomb down here. It's up to Carrigan to try and stop them. Can't find the shot. Forrest with the 3rd kill of the round. Now they have the advantage.
He is in the corner. Good shoulder peek from Forrest. That's one way to do it. Good recognition. Rain still has a lineup, but Get Right's gonna wait to cut them off. And Carrigan jumps up. Get Right has the angle. Down he goes. Doerksen's got the kill. We don't see it, but it doesn't matter. NIP has map 1.
However, next up is NIP's worst map in their pool, Inferno, which goes about as expected.
For now, Forrest in 1, but they're up against Nico. One of the world's best, and he finds a 3-man spray down. Olaf Meister chiming in. I think that's it. We're absolutely done on Inferno, and it will be FaZe tying up the series. 4 versus 1, Doerksen. Good luck, my friend.
Oh, just as he looks away as well, just to make matters worse. 4 kills for Nico.
Then Train.
Chance in this, but forget the lack of detection. He's gonna go aggressive. Oh my God.
2-on-2 situation, and he makes Nico look average. Unbelievable. It's Rez to rotate through, gets the information
from for Rez on an AWP. Instead, he'll let him get to the train and plant, or try to, and Get Right makes no mistake. That's why experience pays off. 2-1 NIP in the grand final.
At this point, Forrest has been an active player since 2003. Other players of his stature, like 1.6 legend Neo, have not been doing this, have fallen back to more supportive roles in the team. Forrest, probably the oldest top Counter-Strike player at the time, he is the engine of the Ninjas in Pyjamas. Map 4 is a blowout from FaZe as Olaf Meister keeps putting up highlights against his Swedish rivals of old.
Fine, Get Right, he's looking for a headshot to Forrest. That goes the other direction, but again a flank from Olaf. It finds existing Get Right quickly. It's just Doerksen remaining. 1 versus 4.
And so, map 5 is Cash. The map that has defined the inconsistency, the ups and downs of the Ninjas in Pyjamas. Whether it be amazing victories or agonizing defeats, The 16-2s, missing majors, the upsets. It's the most polarizing map in Forest and Getright's legacy. Is it NIP or is it RIP? Or perhaps the bigger question to ask, do you believe in NIP magic? Let's etch a moment into Counter-Strike history.
That's right, make some noise. These players have put an absolute show so far. Let's go out with a bang. NIP on the D side, FaZe on the CT. Now, Rez opens things up. Been quiet this game, but that's a good opening. It's up to Karrigan, the in-game leader, to defend them off. If he finds nothing here, this could become problematic. He doesn't. Exist opens up the A-bomb side.
He goes high, that goes above the Molotov. They spot it, and Exist hits another beautiful shot. What a game he is having, as Olaf has to go aggressive, be sacrificial. Olaf will find that kill, but he knows it's not likely, or is it? He's actually going to continue on. I thought he'd back off immediately, but he fancies his chances. Exist doesn't have a dare to peek, and you're right, he's won it on time alone. They'll tie the game back up 6-6. In fact, Exist, just to add the insult to injury, will take Olaf down in the process.
They can't do it. Guardian now jewels it, and it comes down to Exist once again. 6 HP up against Rain.
Time is gone. Exist will win out the round. Rain will try and get on it, but no chance. Does he have a kid? He's picked one up. But still gone, just barely. NIP pull it back 8-6. So he has a chance to find a lineup, and Olaf coming up highway can also get an angle, but the smokes will not give him a chance. More so, Forest won't give him a chance, and Getright stays alive. Bomb goes down. 7 seconds. Nico needs kills to win it. He'll find one. No, he won't. He won't even get Getright.
That's what this flank, this could be everything. Exist is boosted up. The final moment coming. Can Exist get anything done?
Oh!
He gets the double frag. This is it. It's happening. NIP in the 3 versus 1. Karrigan, he needs to step up tremendously. Gets 2 kills. Surely he can't pull this one off.
His 2 kills in this round. Some of his only in this game. He's been very slow, but he's certainly stepping up. He somehow pulls it back to a 1-on-1. Ship against Karrigan. Fronts, but Karrigan pulls it back. 4 kills, incredibly, and we continue. It might have to be the hero again this time. Reverse boost. When of the last time you've seen this? This Red strikes. Karrigan down. It's just 34 and 18 HP for Rain and Nico. And inside of every dark cloud comes Rain, but inside of that comes Rez. He takes down Rain behind the smoke, and Getright closes it. A best of 5 against the best in the world, and NIP go back-to-back in Oakland.
Are those red balls only for the commercials, or can you actually drink them?
No, you can actually, you can drink them. It's fine.